Morning, all. I'm wearing a Montreal jersey, my brand new Patrick Roy, that I got for $33 and a bit on Full Moon Jerseys. Remember, if you don't buy a real jersey because they're too expensive, just gotta wait for the sales, man. They're there. And you just gotta wait and you gotta keep your eye on pretty much everything. They had a 25% off sale on lids. It was for one day. Of course, I grabbed one right away. They're already 25% off. Done. That's good because I've also got other discounts in there. I've got like built up points. Done. I can get a jersey for about 35% off. Dustin Byfuglien fined for a slash on Johnny Gaudreau. Byfuglien is a guy who tends to be temperamental when his team loses. Sort of reminds me of Milan Lucic that way. That if your team's down, he might do something before the end of the game. This is one of those might do something. Now the fact that it's on Johnny Gaudreau and it's only a fine. We'll see what happens next time that the Flames and the Jets play against each other. Backus is to have a hearing for a hit on Coleman last night in the game against the Devils. It's been rough watching Backus as a member of the Bruins. I never liked the contract from the beginning. I thought it was too much money for a guy who was a declining return. It's been declining steadily, and now if he gets a suspension, of course he does. We'll do a video on it when it happens, and we'll look at the hit. But yeah, it's been a rough turn for Backus. I don't think it's a contract that if Don Sweeney could go back, he would sign again. The Oilers placed Zikov on waivers this morning. Now Dotchin went on waivers for Anaheim too. He'll clear. And a couple of guys were put on waivers for the sake of unconditional and for buyouts. Nobody with any NHL experience. Zikov's on waivers because the Edmonton Oiler edition only had 0 points in 5 games. So it took 5 games for the Oilers to say, okay, well, this kid doesn't work. Which means that Carolina could potentially take him back and send him to the minors. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you get these young guys that look like, oh, maybe. And then the next season, nope. And it looks like Zikov's one of those nopes. Of course, Montreal fans of this team, Carey Price is out with a lower body injury, which caused a lot of Montreal fans to panic. Doesn't sound like it's a big deal. Claude Julien's downplaying it, saying it's a nagging injury. It's not a big deal. Nagging injury, lower body injury. My first thought is it's a groin injury. And groin injuries are tricky because they can linger. I know there have been plenty of goaltenders that they've had that lingering injury. And what it really affects, and you watch this when he does come back, is lateral movement. It can really affect your lateral movement back and forth in the crease. So if he has trouble moving left to right to left, he doesn't seem as fast as he was not that long ago, that would point to it being a groin injury, which might be why they wouldn't announce what it is, because then you can crash the crease and try to... And I hate it, but players will do it. They'll go out there. If they know that somebody's got a weak point, they will try to hit it. Big question I was asked by a lot of Vegas fans while I was there. Brandan Perry. He's played 4 games. He's got 4 goals, 1 assist, 5 points. Now, over the Christmas break, he was sent to Chicago. Didn't play a game down there. Brandan Perry says that he was going to go home to Chicago to be with his family anyways. So it wasn't a big deal to him. And there's a reason. If he's on the NHL roster for 30 consecutive days, he has to clear waivers before going down. If he plays 10 games, he has to clear waivers before going down. They have 5 games with Brandan Perry before they have to make a decision. Now, I'm going to be honest. If they're trying to skirt around waivers right now, I don't think that George McPhee has made up his mind on Brandan Perry. If he made up his mind that, yeah, we're just going to send him down, and not worry about waivers. I don't think he worries about the Christmas thing. If, on the other hand, he had decided, well, we're going to keep Pirri. Pirri's not going anywhere, then he doesn't do this either. So this tells me they're not 100% sold on keeping Brandan Perry on the lineup. That being said, I really think that one of the underperformers that I mentioned was Ryan Carpenter. I could see Carpenter getting waived out so that Pirri stays on the roster when everybody's healthy. But again, that's when everybody's healthy, and sometimes that just doesn't happen. So I don't think the team's made a decision on Pirri yet. They don't really have to at this stage. But yeah, so that means that he wasn't on an NHL roster for 30 days. Means he got sent down and brought back up. So technically he was sent to the minors. This is one of those things. I look at the next collective bargaining agreement and I go, can they close up some of these silly loopholes? This is just silly. I think that as far as I'm concerned, if you're up as a replacement for a guy who's injured, I think that should be an exception. But again, that's weird. Yeah, it is strange to me that Pirri would have to. But at the same time, Brandan Perry last year played 2 games for Vegas and scored 3 goals, and then went right back to the minors. And there wasn't a whole lot said about it at the time. And I think it's because Vegas was so good and they had played so well that whole season that the idea that Pirri would go didn't really bother people. This year, since goals seem to be more at a premium for Vegas, the fans notice when a guy comes up and gets a bunch of goals right away. I thought he looked solid in the 2 games that I watched when I was there. That being said, I don't know what McPhee's going to do with him. I don't think McPhee is sold on him yet as a main roster player. I think that once Patches comes back, I think there's going to be some questions to be answered there, and we'll see. But there you go. There's sort of the news of the day, and I wanted to touch on the Pirri thing. Not going to be its own video, but I wanted to touch on it. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.